Hello, dear friends. Today I want to discuss with you one of my favorite topics, essential oils and brain health. Specifically, I want to discuss 3 ways that essential oils support brain health for better mood, memory, and cognition. If you recall in my previous clinical tip on my YouTube channel, I reviewed how essential oils influence our physiology, aid a healthy stress response, and balance our emotions. If you missed it, there will be a link in the video description as well as a transcript, and all of the other resources and studies that I discussed today will be linked there as well. So let's get started on these 3 ways. And for an overview, the first way that essential oils impact brain health for better mood, cognition, and memory is that they modulate hormones and brain signaling patterns. The second way is that they shift brain electrical activity. And the third way is that they protect the nervous system. Okay, so starting with the first one, essential oils, hormones, and brain signaling patterns. So essential oils have been shown to influence mood in a variety of ways. I just mentioned that I recently reviewed some specific essential oils that balance emotions in my previous video when I talked about how they can aid in the stress response. I also explained how these aromatic molecules specifically impact cortisol, the stress hormone, through the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. This intricate bidirectional feedback between our brain and the organs of our endocrine system is essential for regulating our hormones and our psychological as well as our physiological states during times of stress. Some essential oils that I previously discussed were clary sage for regulating cortisol, serotonin, and mood, jasmine essential oil for its influence on the electrical activity of the brain and its psychological benefits, neroli essential oil, a favorite for easing menopausal symptoms and for balancing emotions, ylang ylang oil for its nervous system and heart calming properties, bergamot essential oil for soothing the nervous system, the heart, and the mind, and lavender oil, one of the most famous oils to alleviate stress and anxiety. Now, besides their ability to impact our HPA axis, another way essential oils affect our psychology is by shifting neurotransmitter release. This occurs through the inhalation of aromas and the ability of the volatile compounds, once they're in our system, to interact with our cellular receptors. As you probably are aware, neurotransmitters are critical chemical messengers that help regulate our nervous system and have some important implications in emotional balance. In a 2018 review article, the pharmacological properties of essential oils and their compounds were explored in relationship to specific changes in these brain signaling patterns. The focus of the article was mostly on the effects of essential oils and their constituents on the main inhibitory neurotransmitter known as GABA. But other neurotransmitters such as dopamine and serotonin were highlighted as well. The article also explored how aromatic compounds targeted other cellular receptors in the body, creating changes in pain perception and molecular physiology. Now, for those who are of the scientific mind, want to know and understand the mechanism, let me just read you a part of the abstract, and then I will bring it all together for everyone. So the review focuses on essential oils and their constituents targeting the GABAergic system and sodium channels, and they're anti-nociceptive, which is pain relieving, analytic, which is relieving anxiety, and anticonvulsive properties, relieving seizures. Some constituents target transient receptor potential or TRP channels to exert analgesic effects, again, pain relieving effects. Some components could interact with multiple therapeutic target proteins. For example, they could inhibit the function of sodium channels and at the same time activate the GABA receptors. So basically, the bottom line is that these essential oils act on various receptors, sometimes more than one, at the same time, influencing brain signaling patterns and also influencing other aspects of our body, such as pain relief and calming our brain down, say, from a seizure activity. There were several examples from in vitro and animal studies in the review related to how specific essential oils impact brain messengers. For example, sage was shown to modulate dopamine, which is known as the reward motivation neurotransmitter. Lavender was shown to affect serotonin, equated with mood and calming. Lemon was shown to suppress dopamine and accentuate serotonin. Bergamot would enhance synaptic connection for better overall brain communication, and bitter orange was impacting serotonin. Now, I just want to kind of dial back a little. Why would you want to suppress dopamine and accentuate serotonin with lemon? First of all, let's just say these were experimental trials, and usually essential oils bring the brain back into balance. But say somebody has been stimulating dopamine for a long period of time, that can overactivate the dopamine receptors and wear them out. So by suppressing that dopamine release and activating serotonin, it could be beneficial. In summary, the review demonstrated how essential oils can literally act on cellular receptors and influence neurotransmitter signaling in a particular fashion. This is pretty remarkable considering that most pharmaceuticals can't be that exact or that balancing at the same time and act on more than one mechanism, resulting in side benefits versus side effects. Now, there are other ways that essential oils can do more for the brain, and I mentioned two in the beginning, so let's get to the next one. So we talked about aiding in hormonal and brain signals. Now let's talk about essential oils for brain electricity. Specifically, essential oils have been shown to impact brain functional shifts by changing the electrical activity in the brain. On the physiological level, essential oils and certain fragrances have been shown to alter brainwave patterns affecting concentration, focus, relaxation, and emotions. I already mentioned jasmine oil, but there are others. One study actually provided a handy chart with detailed examples of specific aromatics, even just fragrances, as well as essential oils, and how those influenced electroencephalograph activity, those EEGs that measure brainwave activity. And I'll link that study again in the transcript. Okay, so we have hormones and neurotransmitters, brain electricity, and the third one is the neuroprotection or protection of the nervous system with essential oils. So they actually help protect the brain and enhance cognition. There was a 2017 review article in Frontiers in Aging and Neuroscience, which explored the mechanisms in detail. I'm going to read again the abstract for those scientifically inclined, and I'll try to explain it for everyone as I go through it again. The neuroprotective and anti-aging properties of essential oils and their possible mechanism of actions were evaluated by numerous researchers around the globe. Several clinically important essential oils and their components, from black cumin seed, Agoras gramineus, which I'm not that familiar with, lavender angustifolia, eucalyptus globulus, mentha piperita, which is peppermint, rosmarinus officinalis, which is Mary, and jasmine sambiac, and pepper or Piper nigrum, and so many other plants are reported for neuroprotective effects by these researchers. The review article was aimed to summarize the current finding of essential oils tested against neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. The effects of essential oils on pathological targets of Alzheimer's and dementia, including that amyloid deposition, which is a protein buildup in the brain, neurofibrillary tangles, which is again another pathological brain finding in people with Alzheimer's disease or dementia, cholinogenic hypofunction, which is a problem with enzymes in memory formation, oxidative stress, which is cellular stress, and glutaminergic abnormalities, which is changes in the glutamate, which is a neurotransmitter, which can be too brain excitatory, were found. And the effects of essential oils on other neurological disorders, such as anxiety, depression, cognitive hypofunction, which is low cognitive ability, epilepsy, and convulsions, were also evaluated in detail. And what they found in the conclusion was that essential oils were effective on several pathological targets and have improved cognitive performance in both animal models and human subjects. Thus, essential oils can be developed as a multipotent agents against neurological disorders with better efficiency, safety, and cost effectiveness. Yet they haven't made headlines for some reason. Not sure why. So the breakdown of the article, if we start with, they start with a basic overview of essential oils in history. So that's kind of a fun read, and their biochemical properties and biological properties. They also touch upon how manufacturing and harvesting of the plants will affect what compounds will be produced. You probably heard me say the word chemotype, which is the primary metabolites found in a species. So you can have a similar species of an essential oil, but different compounds found within them based on the quality of the essential oil and how they were produced and harvested. So I've talked about this in previous blogs in detail. Again, they will be linked. But these aspects of chemotypes and quality are especially important to keep in mind when using essential oils therapeutically for brain health or for any other reason for that matter. Next, the author summarized how modulating specific enzyme pathways in the brain may support memory function. They also listed essential oils that have been studied in experimental trials to have these effects. I did provide a link to a figure from the overview of the study, but basically what it showed is that acetylcholine and butyrylcholinesterase were affected by essential oils, and this would inhibit the breakdown of the acetylcholine, which can help restore the action of memory formation, because this is an enzyme involved with memory through some specific studies. But I will have that summary in the transcript if you want to read more details as well as look at the figure. Now, if we look at the actual clinical studies with humans with essential oils for memory and brain health, 2 essential oils stand out for me, probably because they're my favorite, and they seem to have the most research. They are sage and rosemary oil. So if we look at rosemary oil for cognition, it has many studies on how it aids cognitive performance, memory, and stimulates the nervous system. There was a small study with 20 people, and they sought to confirm changes in automatic nervous system function through the use of rosemary oil. They used various different methods, the researchers did. And according to the article, results confirmed the stimulatory effects of rosemary oil and provide supporting evidence that brainwave activity, autonomic nervous system activity, as well as mood states are all affected by the inhalation of rosemary oil. In another study that assessed rosemary along with lemon oil, an improvement in cognitive function in those with dementia was reported. So I just want you to be aware again, if we go back to chemotypes, if you're looking for that energizing, cognitive stimulating properties of a rosemary essential oil, you want to look for a species of rosemary that has a higher amount of 1,8-cenol and monoterpenes. And also, if you're using rosemary oil and you have high blood pressure, there have been claims, not really greatly substantiated, that rosemary could impact blood pressure, especially if you're on medication. So if it's related to overstimulation of the nervous system, why the blood pressure is high, you might want to check out ylang-ylang because that's calming for blood pressure. It also enhances vagal tone and helps with heart rate variability. Now, what about sage oil? There's sage oil that we know of as Salvia officinalis, and Spanish sage, which is Salvia lavendulifolia. This is the second biggest oil that I love for memory. It even earned its namesake of sage. It has been shown to also assist with cognition and brain function in a variety of human trials. There was one study that assessed the mental benefits of Spanish sage in healthy subjects. They used a very complicated, placebo-controlled, double-blinded, balanced, crossover design. And the subjects received more than one treatment dosage, so they could assess dosage, and they had multiple measurements of the same factor throughout this trial. The authors concluded that the memory retrieval was enhanced with Spanish sage and that the participants reported improvements in alertness, mood, and cognition. There was a comprehensive review that included 8 human clinical trials using mostly sage oil, but sometimes also the herb. And I do have a link to the chart, which is summarized in the review, all of the findings, and that will be in the video transcription. But basically the bottom line is, if you scroll through all of those 8 studies and human clinical trials, an improvement in cognitive function, neuropsychiatric syndromes, memory performance, mood, alertness, those were all validated. It's pretty cool because if you look even in the health space, some of the supplements that many people are getting excited about might have 1 or 2 clinical trials, and they haven't been around that long, and they're based on mechanistic studies. What I love about essential oils is they've been around since ages of time, right? Now, sure, we've used science to better isolate some of their compounds, but they have a history of safety and effective use and definitely impacting the mood. So there you have it. I've shown you why essential oils are one of my favorite topics for brain health. And we talked about how they can help through stress hormones and neurotransmitter signaling, electrical activity of the brain, and neuroprotection. And we specifically highlighted sage and rosemary. So these are just a few ways that essential oils can support brain and psychology. I'll review others in an upcoming tip, and specifically, especially how they can help naturopathic and functional medicine doctors get to the root cause of brain health problems. So I would love to hear your thoughts and your favorite oils for emotional balance and cognition, what yours are. And if you like this content, if you could provide feedback and subscribe to the channel, it would help us out enormously in getting the words out about the benefits of essential oils and natural health information. And if you like what you're learning from me, I also offer additional resources, including free ones where you can learn more about essential oils, and membership options, as well as course training for practitioners that you can check out again in the resource section.